Aside what Governor Charles Soludo said, we also have Chief Dan Ulasi, a politician from Anambra State, made some comment recently, which I believe you must have heard. What's your take on that?
Pathetic. You know, Chief Dan Ulasi is a man who said he has been the chairman of two national political parties in Anambra State. One NRC in 1993 and then PDP. And in 2023, Chief Dan Ulasi is also saying that Ndi should support Atiku Abubakar. First of all, I found this very contradictory. Chief Dan Ulasi is the man who told the whole world that Shehu Shagari told him that the reason his people, in other words his fellow Fulani people, overthrew him in government was because they didn't want an Igbo person to be president. Alex Ekweme was vice president, and Shagari was saying, according to Dan Ulasi, that it was the Fulani that overthrew him to forestall an Ekweme to be president. The same Dan Ulasi is now campaigning in Igbo land in the southeast for an Atiku Abubakar, who is a Fufude speaking Fulani Northern Muslim, to succeed another Fufude speaking Fulani Northern Muslim to govern Nigeria for an unbroken period of 16 years. And unfortunately, the same Dan Ulasi is now campaigning against the presidential candidate of Southeast, which even the presidential candidate that Atiku Abubakar is campaigning for has openly come out to say it is the turn of the Southeast to produce the next president. You can imagine Chief Dan Ulasi is coming out to eat back his vomit, that it is the Fulani that is the problem of the Southeast, and then he is now the chief spokesperson of Atiku Abubakar. Now, let us look at what Ulasi said about Atiku Abubakar. People have been wondering, how did Atiku Abubakar make so much wealth as a civil servant, a custom officer? It was from Chief Ulasi that I heard it, that when Atiku was a custom officer, he was flying container out of the wharf without collecting duty for the government. And Atiku knew that it was illegal, but yet he was doing it. This was the statement of Dan Ulasi. So he knew that Atiku was very corrupt, even as a custom officer. Now, let us see how very unfortunate this man can be. He coined it that Atiku was doing those things to help the Igbo people who came out of the war, and that was why he was allowing containers to fly out of the wharf without collecting duty. That it is only when the container has gone out that he will now collect duty. Now, let me state it clearly, because when I went to Lagos, I lived in Ulasi with some of my relatives that we are clearing and forwarding agents. I lived in Ulasi with some of my relatives that we are clearing and forwarding agents. Whenever a container leaves the wharf, the duty, custom duty, is no longer going to the government, it's going to the coffers of the custom officer. Who is that custom officer that will be so daft that he will now collect duty afterwards? The container has left the wharf and go back to put it in the government's cover. He will be caught. So when Atiku was doing that, they call it flying container. In the palace of the clearing of one agent, the money goes to the custom officer's pocket. So this is J.C. Ulasi actually on national television telling the whole world that Atiku is corrupt. And he was compensated by being made the contact and mobilization head in the southeast, so that maybe he will use part of the money, maybe corrupt money, to buy the Igbo people to follow Atiku. Otherwise, how can a person from the southeast calling himself an elder, who knows that by equity and justice it is the time of his people, who has told us in the past, according to him, because I don't believe it, I campaigned for a Fulani president 2019, and when it is appropriate again in future, I will do the same. This same elder that originally was telling us that Fulani was our problem is now telling us that we should now give Fulani 16 years to govern Nigeria. So these elders, sorry to say it, they are integrity challenged. They are suffering from acute integrity deficiency syndrome, AIDS. They talk contradictory things when they are offered money or anything whatsoever. So Chief Ulasi is a man who, after being the chairman of the National Party in Anambra State, has not attracted any development in Anambra State, in the whole Southeast. Let me ask him, he's trying to tell the Southeast to follow PDP. What has PDP done for the Southeast for the 16 years they were in power? Just give me one legacy project, one. Then this is a man that is encouraging Southeast to follow PDP. PDP has not considered Southeast qualified for the president or the vice president for 24 years, and Southeast has given 100% of their votes. Yet, an elder like Ulasi will tell us to follow them. They are part of the problems of the Southeast, because if anybody wants you to tell your people to follow him, ask him what is in there for your people. Democracy is a representative government. How has PDP represented the interest of the Southeast? How has PDP been able to pay back all the support and loyalty that Southeast has given to them for 24 years? They've not considered us qualified for president or vice, and they have not considered us qualified for any infrastructure. Yet, and Ulasi is telling us that we should support PDP in 2023. Sadly, against his own brother, Peter Obi. So you can see that these men have nothing else to offer the people of Lagos or Southeast. So the only thing the Southeast owe them now is to vote them out, vote their candidate out, and allow the emergence, the evolution of new leaders. Peter Obi said, they are in the past, but I and that we are the future of Nigeria. So please, Ndigo, do not listen to them. They are not fighting for your interests. They are fighting for their own personal interest. Ulasi has failed his people. He has been in politics for decades with nothing to show for it for his people. We should try a new beginning in Peter Obi.